V, the leading addiction specialist in my mind in the world, the doctor,
Give me your
everything.
mind.
And well, it's not a bad, it's a little kind of a thing, mine. But what's worrying me before we start is Dr. V's got his sign back up. He said the other day he did a grant. He doesn't need to rent the space. And now Dr. V's got the rent sign up. What's going on, Dr. V? What's
I,
going on?
I thought it was the internet, but it must be my phone. I'm having trouble downloading messages on my phone, so I have to upgrade the phone now. I don't have
Like
money in the
last,
grant for a
right.
new phone.
Right, you got the internet fixed. Now you got to do so. If anybody can help Dr. V, he needs to. Somebody wants to rent that space there. I
I
don't know
need it.
what you want to put on it, but if somebody wants to rent that space there, I say right on. If it's cool, we'll just stick it up anyhow. Who cares? At the same time, I'm looking at this thing and I'm going, Doctor. 80 years old. The guy's almost 80 years. He's 80 years old. All of a sudden, the MAGAs who've been yelling and screaming about old man Biden and old man that, they put up a guy who can't maintain a sentence, who can't maintain a thought, who lies through his teeth and every other orifice in his body. And they think that that old man is like, it's like looking at Uncle Frank at the local diner. You and I are going to be like Uncle Frank one day. We're going to be over in the corner at the local diner yelling at our buddies, going, yeah, wrong. Yeah, yeah, we know everything. The kids don't know anything. How can MAGA, who wants to make America great again, the MAGA Bund, how can the MAGA Bund suddenly take an almost 80-year-old dude and put him up there? He's going to show us the future. It's the future. Get ready. It's okay. Take it, Dr. V.
Tell me this. What's this about the late, great Hannibal Lecter? I don't get the point he's trying to make.
He
Reminds me
made
of.
some joke about it before at some rally, and they gave him trouble about it. So he's doing it again because he thinks he's funny and he thinks he'll get people riled up, and nobody cared the second time because he already said it once. It's just Trump being Trump. An 80-year-old guy like Uncle Frank who thinks he's sitting at the diner. I'm telling you, oh, I got some funny jokes. Hannibal Lecter, what a great guy. Oh, guy, yeah, slap each other. That was a funny one, wasn't it? Hilarious.
Yeah, it reminds me of my uncle at the Thanksgiving dinner. People just would like humor him a little bit, but nobody paid any attention to him.
Unfortunately, everybody, at least the cultists, pay attention to
To every
Trump.
word, every
I,
word.
this is going to be so interesting now because the Democrats, when we were talking about the other day, the Democrats were there's no emotion, there was no emotion, there was no feeling, and now there seems to be. You've got the basic groups of the Democratic Party. You got the black and colored groups saying they're backing her right away. I say right on. You got women saying they're backing her right away. I say right on. The governors are saying they're backing her right in. And the Fox is doing everything they can to say it's a fractious party. It's all split up. They don't understand.
Not split
People have been waiting for this to happen for a while. But explain something. I'm going to ask you a question. Will
Sure.
you explain this for me? Fox and the MAGAs are really upset that people like me who voted in the primary, we're not going to talk about those who didn't, but the people like me who voted in the primary have now had my vote changed from Biden because I voted for Biden. These people are very upset that my vote is being changed from Biden. These are the MAGAs.
Oh yeah,
Why do
you
I
get
want
real
my vote
upset.
changed?
Bet you're
I'm
real
having my
upset.
right. I'm having my vote changed. No, who are you telling me, the MAGAs, that you're bummed that my vote's being changed? I voted for Biden. I'm happy. I'm satisfied. There ain't no problem. This
Right.
holier than thou stuff, I don't think it's going to work. What do you think?
Yeah. This is what I don't understand. Isn't the purpose of a political party to nominate people to win elections? They're upset that politicians are playing politics. That's what they're hired to do. That's their job. So how can they be upset with that? I mean, I think some of the Republicans in the MAGA party are upset because they should have done that with Trump years ago, and they didn't. They let his movement metastasize and take over their party. The Democrats got together. They looked at polls. They looked at what the people really wanted, and they put up someone who has a viable chance of winning. That's what a party is supposed to
Well,
do.
they didn't just put him up. You had a leader who stepped down, who walked away from power, actually walked away from power. Whether, yeah, he was in trouble politically. You're right. Yeah, you had all this, but still, instead of saying, I'm going to say it's all fake and I'm being thrown out and I'm going to stand up and I'm going to say, go to the Capitol and fight and keep me in the White House. No, that's not what happened here. This guy said, I'm leaving. I understand it's for the good of the country and it's for the good of the party, and I can focus on being president of the United States. And I say, right on, okay? Where you have an 80-year-old or almost 80-year-old at the MAGAs who is sitting there and saying, I can't even talk, but says, don't take me out of my position. I have power. I'm not giving my power out. Oh, what a difference. What a dichotomy. And you can really run on chunks of that while you're young and you got new ideas. We're going to have a Democratic governor. Oh, it's going to be too much. I just think if I'm the Republicans, I am bummed. Though the hubris and the male testosterone is still stinking coming out of the TV. But it's I'd be bummed if I were them. I'd be real bummed right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's. Uh, can you imagine Trump walking away if the party officials showed him that the polls were terrible? He didn't have support of the rank and file anymore, and it was time for him to step away. You can't imagine his ego would ever allow him to step away.
Joey
And
lost an election. Joey
he,
lost I almost lost it there. I'm like, he lost. He lost an election and he wouldn't walk
he
away.
walked away.
Think about it. The
Yeah,
American people said hit the road, and he wouldn't hit the road. He did everything he could to break the law, and he has a vice president who wants to back him up on it. Luckily, the law has changed, so they can't do that anymore.
yeah. But the Republicans had a chance to move away from this guy and save their party, and instead they backtracked. And I don't know if it's that because they still wanted the power, they wanted his base that he brought to the table, but they compromised their morals to support this guy, and now they're left with him. And the Democrats, they took matters in their hand, and to his credit, Joe Biden did not let his ego overwhelm what needed to be done. And he did the right thing, and it's good for the party and ultimately good for the country. So this is a good day. This is a good day. And now, over time, we have to talk about what the implications are for the election. If Kamala herself brings something to the table, if that's going to help improve Democrat chances of winning, but it puts the Democrats back in the game, which is great. So that's
Right.
wonderful.
It's a real election, and people can actually now look at two sides. That's what's great about this. People can actually look at two sides and say, I wanted, because there's definitely a dichotomy between the two parties, and say, I'm going to vote this way or I'm going to vote this way. I'm betting that I know pretty sure that my Democratic president is going to make it for 4 years. I
Right.
kind of wonder about my Republican president. My Republican guy is running for president who's going to be what, 82 when that's over, and who knows if he'll even want to leave then. So you have a real dichotomy. And what's great, and hopefully, and I know it's all sounds like pablum, and everybody says it, but gosh, what's wrong with just yelling at each other and then going out and having a beer? What am I missing on all that? Instead of going out and calling everybody names, I mean, listen to Trump. As soon as Biden walked out, Trump called him every name in the book. He's this, he's that, he's a loser. He's like, God, what are we missing here? You couldn't just say, good talking to you. Thanks for running. We'll see you later.
Right.
That's what a smart guy would have done. A smart guy would have said at the RNC, I'm not going to, I'm not going to go after him. I'm not going to send my Justice Department after him. He would say, because he's so old. That's what he would say, because he's
Right.
old and infirm. But he should, people would have really kind of thought, man, he went over the line and actually changed a little. But he is what he is. I watch True Social. I read some True Social. How dumb am I? How crazy am I to read True Social? It's wacko. He hasn't changed, Joe. He hasn't changed.
Yeah, it's a to some extent it's a shame because all he has to do is keep his mouth shut. All he has to do is follow what his advisors are telling him to stick to
Oh,
the
that would
issues.
never happen. Yeah.
And I think he still is the favorite to win, but the chance of him doing that is really low. So the ball's in his court, and we'll see if he flubs it.
But
But
he'll only be what he's going to be.
yeah,
I kind of look at it a little differently. Trump is what Trump is. Trump ain't going to change. Whether you love him or you hate him, Trump is what Trump is. Okay. And the people who hate him ain't never going to love him or like him and vote for him. And the people who love him are always going to vote for him. And the
yeah,
issue is going to be those middle people. I call them middle wherever they are in there.
right.
So I think really the heat is on the Democrats to put together a policy, a plan to be able to compete with what the Republicans are and say, we're young, we're happening, and you want to come with us because we are going forward. And I think it's on them. And then that pulls it away. We start getting some excitement and some energy. I hear people talking on TV. I see it. I feel energy. There's like
Oh, absolutely.
energy.
Right. Nothing like coming back from the dead and being alive
Woo,
again. And the
woo.
Democrats have come back from the dead. So
Yes,
you're
they
right.
have.
They're
And it's going
really
to be
good
an
guys.
excellent, let me tell you, it's going to be an excellent governor who's going to be the vice president.
Who's
I'm saying now, Roy Cooper.
Roy Cooper. Roy Cooper. I would not have predicted that. That's a
Who
good
did you
one.
think
All
I
right.
was going to, who did
All
you think
right.
I was
All
going
right.
to,
I got to run over to a
who
site
did you
over.
think, who did you
I got
think
to
I
run
was
over
going
to the site. I can get some good odds on that one.
to, I'm not surprised. Who do you think it's going to be?
Well, logically, it should be Shapiro. And I'll tell you why. I think Kamala does bring a lot to the table, but what she doesn't bring is, and Joe Biden, I think, did a good job of this, at least in 2020, was that he would go after the white working class, middle class folks from Scranton. People could identify with that. And that's really important if you want to win the Rust Belt states, like Pennsylvania. I don't think Kamala has much appeal for that group anymore. And I think what happened to Joe Biden is that he lost that group going into this election. So it'd be great if you brought somebody on the ticket who could appeal to that group. And that's where Josh Shapiro could come in because I think he
The
would have a lot
Jewish
of
guy,
appeal.
the Jewish guy.
He is Jewish, and I know Kamala's married to a Jewish guy.
I
And
mean, yeah, it's just like what are people going to start saying in the MAGA verse?
aren't
You
we past that?
know,
Aren't
you
we
know they're
past that
run by the
yet?
Rothschilds. You know the Rothschilds are running them. That kind of stuff starts. But look, you may be correct. I'll tell you why I think it's Roy Cooper.
All
Okay,
right, go ahead.
you know Roy Cooper is the governor of North Carolina.
Which
Roy Cooper is
they don't have any
her
chance to win North Carolina.
North Carolina is term limited. Okay, he can't run again.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, so they have this. You see who's running for the MAGA guy running for governor in North Carolina? This big guy who just talks like women should be. It's like, look him up, okay?
All right.
You won't believe it. There's a real chance we can win North Carolina. And
No, no, that's not.
listen, let me finish. There's a real Roy Cooper's been governor for 2 terms. There's a real chance, and you got a guy who's crazy, who's running for governor, who's super MAGA over there. And by doing this, you're not losing in the long run a governor where you're going to lose a Josh Shapiro, and you got to have an election to determine who the next governor is going to be. If a senator is appointed, then the governor can pick the senator. But if a governor is appointed, then you have to have some type of an election, even though the delegates or whatever are going to do. You're going to have an election. You lose Josh Shapiro. What if a Republican wins Pennsylvania? You lose What you can lose Michigan in the same way. Lose Wisconsin. They talk about anybody in Wisconsin. I'm not sure, but you the governor of Michigan. You got the governor of Pennsylvania. I'm not sure about Wisconsin. So you don't want to lose your governors there because you want. This is how I look at it politically. You want to keep them on top of
But
everything.
you only lose them if the party wins, right? You don't
I'm
have to
talking
resign
about
to run.
losing them throughout the election. I'm talking about having them be there on the ground,
Oh, I
making
see.
sure they're taking care of the politics, doing what's got to be done. Whitmer has her group. She knows how to keep that things going all over, and they'll all work together, the governors. That's what you got. Having governors is hands on. You really rough. Senators aren't as, I mean, they're important nationally, but governors are what matters unless you totally get handled or
Yeah.
gerrymander by the legislature. Governors what matters locally. So you got those governors walking and working together. It'd be beautiful. And then you got Roy Cooper, who's the governor, who knows to do it, speaks well, really smart. They like him down south. You got to assume the Scranton type people will like him. He can translate it to mid America. I could be 100% incorrect, but I think it's Roy Cooper.
I have not heard that name. I've not heard that name. So that's a good one. That's a good one. I
Somebody should look at a certain thing and see what it looks like and let me know later.
yeah, I'm not sure he's on the market yet, but if he comes on the market,
I bet you he is.
all right, I'm gonna have to
I
take a
bet you
peek.
they all are. Everybody's got to be. I don't know who isn't. Every white male governor
Yeah,
who's Democrat has got to be on the. Has got to be out there. Could be considered. That's what's his name in Kentucky. You don't want to lose him either. Bashir, he's
I know.
really good. I heard him
Yeah, he
talking
is
again
good.
today.
He is good. Yeah, I agree. But you want to pick somebody from a state that's winnable.
But North Carolina is very winnable.
I don't think it's winnable.
Why not?
If they won North Carolina, it would already be past the tipping point. They would
What do you
already have
mean?
won.
They could easily look. I think it's going to be a different type of an election. I just think people are looking at things differently now. Look, folks, you know, I'm not going to say I've been right pretty much since the beginning, but I'm going to say it anyhow. Thank you, because you always say it for me anyhow. And I could be totally wrong.
No, you've been
Because
right.
you
You've been
see things and you don't know, but it looks like it's not going to be that basic election where it's just the three states. I think you're going to have a break of certain states are just going to shock people because it's just going to be a different look. Now, who knows 3 months from now, right? Who
yeah,
knows who's going to implode on stage and say the wrong thing or
yeah.
look bad on a debate? Thank you for that. We love you. The debate and all that kind of stuff. I mean, who knows? Okay. I don't know. We try to stay objective, even though we are a little bit to the left of the center. We're upfront about it, but thank you very much. The but how are you going to, you got to look at all these, how are you going to, you got to make sure that you just got all that in line. You're going to be stunned. People are going to say different things. Women are going to be looking at it differently. Minorities are going to be looking at it differently. It's just going to, I just don't think you can look at it like we do, where you have the 3 or 4 states you got to worry about. I think you
Well,
can break states
all
out.
right. I'll give you a dark horse.
Give me a dark horse.
Mark Kelly.
They're talking about big.
Mark Kelly for VP.
I don't think he'll do it
Why not?
because his wife got shot.
Yeah,
And
well,
I think not only is he an excellent senator, I
yeah,
think he's an excellent husband, though I don't live with them.
yeah,
And I think he really focuses on his family.
yeah,
That's what I see and what I
yeah.
believe. And I'm just saying what I think. I think what's going to happen is he would, in the end, if he was asked, he would probably take it. But I think that the idea there would be he's got to deal with his wife. And man, what a courageous, brave person she is after being shot and came back. Oh my
Absolutely. Yep,
Lord.
yep,
And
yep.
he is an astronaut. He's everything. I mean, I just don't see it right now. Okay.
Central casting.
Gabby and him. Maybe I'm wrong. I just don't see it. But I think it's a very good pick on your part. And I think he would be an excellent pick. But politically, that's why I don't think it's going to happen.
Here's why I like to pick because Arizona is in play. And I think Kamala doesn't help so much in the Rust Belt states, but she does help in those other states like more the sunshine states, the Arizonas, the maybe Georgia a little bit, and those kinds of states. And I think she would help a lot in Virginia. I wouldn't even count Virginia as guaranteed, but you have to make sure you have Virginia. So I think there would be another path to victory. Biden had one path, which was through the Rust Belt states, but I think for Kamala, it opens up some alternatives. Nevada maybe is in play. You have somebody from the Southwest. So that's why I think that would be an especially good pick. He brings
Look,
something to the ticket, and he's a
you
good
could.
guy. He's a good guy.
He's everything. You're look, I'm not disagreeing with you, but also think about this. Who is the Republican running for governor of Arizona? Carrie Lake,
Oh yeah,
loon woman.
yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
when you look at that, Frankie, we like you. You agree with Joe? I love you. I love Joe too. The yeah,
Thank
but
you,
she
Frankie.
makes them vulnerable in that state. And who is it? What's his name? The congressman running for Senate from the Democrats. I see his face. I'm sorry, the name isn't coming to me. He's excellent, and he's got a
Yeah,
real chance to win.
yeah, he
So
does. Yeah,
I agree, but they can win in Arizona. You take Roy Cooper and you bring him in, you lose nothing on Senate or the House, or Senate or governor. You got everybody in place, and then at the same time you can go. But who knows? I think the senator is excellent. I mean, what are you going to say? He would be an excellent president or vice
yes,
president.
yeah, yeah. I
I
agree.
just don't see him going with that.
Getting the
Frankly, I
Southwest
agree.
would
Getting
be
the
helpful.
southwestern
Yeah,
states would be helpful, and Joe sees it also. But remember, Kamala comes from California, so she is Western,
right,
and you have to think that they would lean a little bit more towards her
right.
than the others.
Yeah,
And
again,
so
I don't think she brings that much for the Rust Belt states.
she doesn't bring it, but that's what we're saying about Senator Kelly. Does she need
You
to have to
need
bring us
another path. You need another path.
Roy Cooper?
Okay. So he would help with a Georgia maybe or
And in North Carolina, I'm sorry, North Carolina isn't that far south.
yeah,
It's a long state. It moves a little bit towards the west. It's near Kentucky, Tennessee. You got Bashir in Kentucky. They start working this. I really think if these guys work it right, folks, and it's really up to to their politics, if these guys are
right.
politically good, okay, and they only have a month or two to do it, a couple months, but they've got to get these
Couple
guys
weeks.
get them all intertwined and make it where we have a network and it just what we're in a position, the Democrats are in a position to do it. Phil Murphy won't do it, Frankie, if I may, for a couple of reasons. Number one is Joyzy. Number two, he had a problem with his wife because they changed the rules up there where if you were like recommended by the party, you were put top up there. She came in. Money isn't always the answer. He's loaded anyhow. She came in and just came in and became and was put at the top right away because of that. And she had to walk out because everybody got mad about it. It looks like an insider thing, and that's what Jersey always is. Phil Murphy isn't going to get involved. I don't see it
He would
happening. And
help
Jersey's
probably with
going
the
Democrat too.
yeah, he would help with the Rust Belt folks.
But there's the thing with his wife and everything going on would be all over the place.
Got it.
You
Okay.
want somebody who's really clean. You have no, so that MAGA can't take some stories and put it in like we can do, like I'm sorry, like the Democrats can do with, say, a J.D. Vance, where you can take what he said before about Trump and compare and contrast it with what he's saying now about Trump. You don't want to bring in a candidate in the Democratic vice presidential nomination who you can jump on right away. You want him to be, I think it's going to be him here. You want him to be clean and whatever. If the most just be you don't agree with what he says. That's what I think. That's what I think.
Well,
Well, Frankie, go ahead, Joe.
I was just going to say our track record has not been too bad. And again, I don't recommend people investing their money in
Oh,
but
stop it.
I don't recommend it. But if someone did,
No,
it
no,
would
no.
help a
Look,
little bit.
well, let me take a step back here. I'm sorry he does this. Frankie and everybody else, he does this. I love this guy. Okay. We talk about when you look at odds, these people who have been betting on elections, and it started in Britain. We talked about it last time. It started in Britain. And for some reason, they tend to do really well when the odds are certain ways. So if the odds are like really pro this or pro that, it tends to come out okay. When things surge, you just see that. Well, there are platforms. There's one foreign. I think there's one here in America. And what Dr. V is talking about is you look at it to just see what is the sense of the people out there and what all these people are doing. And it gives you a good idea for what's going on. It's like what do they call it? Used to call it a color analyst. I don't know. An analyst in a football game who gives you the whole view of everything. That's what Dr. V is doing here. Right, Dr. V? Thank you,
Color, I'm
Dr.
talking
V.
about green color. That's
Ah, that's somebody else. Okay, go ahead, Dr. V. Go ahead. Go ahead.
well, it makes it fun. We're here about having fun too. So we get serious at times, but we like to have fun too. And one of the things that makes it fun is when you commit to some
No,
prediction.
you can do whatever you want to do. We don't do that here. We just stop it. We cheese. I talked to him so many times. I've known this guy 53 years. Look at him laughing. It doesn't work. It's like I wanted to shake him. It doesn't work. Dr. V, listen.
All right, all right, all right.
Listen.
Yes,
Just
educational
we use
purposes.
it
Yeah,
as an
you get a sense of what's going
educational
on. Okay,
tool,
all right,
period. Okay, go ahead.
all right. You get a sense of what's going on and what the general consensus is, and often these markets show up before polls. When you're waiting for the polls, that's always delayed because you have to go through the whole process of polling people and everything else. But here you get sort of an instant analysis of what's going on. So one of the instant analysis is since Biden's gotten out of the race, is that Trump's overall odds of winning have gone down. So
They
that
have.
tells you,
Have
yes,
they gone down a lot?
somewhat.
10%, 20%?
About 5 or 6 cents on the market there.
But is that like 5 or 10%? What is it
It's
off? What's the
yeah,
principle?
five
What were they?
percent. Yeah, 5%.
So, so what did they say it was before? Did it come from like
So
60 to?
it's like he had about a 66% of winning. Now it's down to about a 61% chance of
Well,
winning.
that's 10% almost.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That's a big move,
That's a
10%.
big move.
That's
Yeah,
saying these people are thinking something's happening. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
something's
I'm
happening.
just backing what you're
So,
saying.
so we don't know what the polls are going to say yet, but I suspect the polls are going to get a little bit closer now because these markets help predict what's going to happen, and they're predicting that all of a sudden the race has gotten closer. So we have a race. We have some fun. This will make for a fun summer and a lot of discussion, and hopefully we can engage people who watch this and lend their opinion too, because
Because
that's
you all know, right, Dr. V, we're on every Friday at 11 a.m. Is that correct, Doctor? No, every Sunday. I'm sorry,
Sunday,
every
Sunday at 11,
Sunday at 11 a.m. And
Sunday, Sunday.
we're getting people coming on, watching us more and more. We do shorts. I do shorts of Just an American Citizen. Dr. V's starting to do a couple little shorts. And also, I always say it, people, I know we're more political here, but you guys always have thoughts about addiction or any, and I just, that's a major word. I mean, like you're addicted to Trump. Why are people addicted to Trump? You can answer that question. This is the man, okay? Just stay away from talking about these odds and everything. Remember, that's just educational. Either way, what's today? Today is Monday. We came on because we had to do an emergency one. We appreciate everybody coming on, right, Dr. V? And
Absolutely.
Doc, I've also brought Dr. V over to, he was listening to Pink Floyd the other day. He fell asleep. So I wanted to note that to you
Not at
because
all.
it's like,
David
either
Gilmour.
way.
I'm going to play him.
I've been
That'll
hearing
be
all these
our
threats.
walkout music. David Gilmour.
And then walk out, everybody's going to go, oh, they're going to feel like they're ghastly. Okay, well, we'll see you all on Sunday. And unless we come up with another, I'll be doing shorts. I did one earlier today. Dr. V is going to do shorts. You got ideas? We love your input. We love your views. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. And that's the way it
And
is.
I'm saying that's the way it is.
Period.
Period. See y'all later.